Principal of Academics, Dr. Rajan sir, who always inspires us to be our best selves. I would also like to welcome our Vice Principal, Student Affairs, Dr. Arunachalam. I would like to welcome all the HODs and participants and my dear colleagues. And last but not the least, I would like to welcome Dr. Arun Anil sir for all his support and guidance. I would also like to welcome the judges for today, Dr. Aarti and Dr. Samina. Thank you one and all for being present here. I hope you enjoy all the exciting debate.
Thank you, Mr. Kapoor. I kindly request Dr. P.S. Patel sir for his graceful opening remarks.
So, very good afternoon to all my dear students and my colleagues on the dais, Dr. Rajan, Dr. Mahalakshmi, Dr. Daniel, Samina, and Dr. Arunachalam. I am very happy that the Students' Council, as per the directions of our regulating body, are celebrating this birthday of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. How many of you knew this name before? Now the debaters must be knowing something. If you asked the same question to me, I said that honestly I was not knowing until the circular came of this name. I must have celebrated 75 National Independence Day celebrations and must have hoisted at least 20 years every year. Not a single day, neither me nor any of the participants in those Independence Day celebrations remember these people. It's a fact. Now anyway, it's not too late for any good thing to happen. Finally, at least, the contribution of these, the so-called unsung heroes, are the people who have contributed significantly and were not remembered, not recognized. Anyway, this government is doing this job. I must compliment the present government. For you, in fact, the last fortnight when I went to Delhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, who fought for the independence, he was totally kind of unrecognized. And his statue now is there besides the India Gate. That should have been done long back, It should not take anybody 75 who had formed his own army to fight the colonial regime. Because you are all born in independence India. And unless some education, even I am also born in independent India only. But at least I was very nearer to the struggle age-wise, so you can recollect. So history always says is a distortion. Some things which are buried for any reason, personal reasons, or some political reasons, these contributions of these significant people, who sacrificed their lives, who came beyond their caste, creed, religion, and fought for the independence, the fruits of which we are reaping. And it is our prime duty that we should remember all those people. And this Birsa Munda, when I tried to Google out, he died at the young age of 25 years. So within 25 years, a person gets recognized. So he must have been an extraordinary person. And he was already earned the title of Bhagwan. The very hardly any few personalities are there wherein such Bhagwan is prefixed. So that itself reflects the contribution of this Birsa Munda, who was a tribal leader. Some of you must have seen, how many of you have seen that movie RRR? Yes, you have seen? Yes, like this, seen or not seen? Only trailer. See, the RRR is a film which is reflecting the contribution of these tribal people, that person who was, yes, based on his story only the film was there. Finally he succeeds in going and assassinating that British officer. Now what all he undergoes his family, sacrifices family. And I also must tell One more person, so I'm very proud to say I belong from Dharwad. Dharwad is a place in Karnataka. Okay, Dharwad, Hubli, you must have heard. Dharwad had a very strong colonial presence. And Chittoor is a small place about 20 kilometers from Dharwad. There was a Chittoor Maharani. Her name is Chittoor Maharani Channamma. In my place and everywhere, her statues are there in that part of northern Karnataka. That lady blew the whistle against the British in 1853, 4 years before the first War of Independence, which is written in the history 1857. And war was fought in Dharwad, Chittoor, against one collector, British collector, who led the army. His name is Thackeray. And in the war, she shot dead him. And his, monument of his Thackeray is still there. Till this day it is there. That is a Thackeray monument. Then later on, British realizing that brought another force and they defeated her and imprisoned her. That is a different story. So many are there. It is our prime duty to now to find out, remember, and pay our tributes to these people whose sacrifice has made us to enjoy this freedom today. It's good that Student Council of AVMC he has taken this move, and I must thank Professor Rajan, Professor Arunachalam, Daniel, and the judges, Arti and Samina. They are here. Some awareness about this, and hereafter it will be probably every day. And when I was trying to Google this Sadhguru of Coimbatore, he has released a list of 75 people who are unsung heroes. Some Kudras Khan, Bilak, so many names are there, and it's a wonderful thing to read. I didn't get time to read. So all of you please read that. Google it out. Unsung heroes of Indian struggle for freedom. You will have some interest in. Whenever you find leisure time, you read that. Right? Thank you very much once again. And I hope the participants for the debate must have prepared very well. And yes, who are the participants? How many? Oh, good, very good. All the best for all the debaters. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I kindly request Dean HP, Dr. Mahalakshmi ma'am, to share her thoughtful ideas.
Good afternoon. Sir has told the RRR story, right? When the Cold War is in progress, way back in 60s to 80s, 90s, USSR was troubling USA. But USA took Cuba much more seriously than USSR. That's because of proximity. Many a times people are misinterpreted. Their cultures are very different from what we are used to, including this Maharaj whom we are talking about, because the way the tribal people address their elders, the way their value systems may not be something which is very familiar to us. So when something is not familiar, it tends to get misinterpreted, and when it gets misinterpreted, it is easy for us to push it under the carpet. So that is how many of the things have gone behind in the history. And have they not been recognized? Yes, they have not been recognized. That's why there is a need for a day like this. So I am not very sure how the other team is going to argue, saying that yes, they have already been recognized. So I am waiting to listen to your viewpoints. I hope that we'll have an enjoyable time. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It is better to debate a question without settling it, than to settle a question without debating it. Hence, we begin the most awaited debate competition, and now please Allow me to introduce to you all the judges of today's competition. Dr. Aarti ma'am, the Associate Professor of the Forensic Medicine Department. Samina ma'am, and our Mr. Sanchit Kushwaha will be the moderator of the event. Over to you, Sanchit.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I sincerely welcome you all to our today's debate competition to commemorate Janjatiya Gaurav Divas. Government of India has declared 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas dedicated to the memory of brave tribal freedom fighters. Today's date is the birth anniversary of Sri Birsa Munda, who is revered as Bhagwan by tribal communities across the country. Birsa Munda fought bravely against the country, against the exploitative system of the British colonial system, and spearheaded the movement against British oppression, giving a call for Ulgulan, revolution. The declaration acknowledges the glorious history and cultural heritage of tribal communities. The day will be celebrated every year and will recognize the efforts of the tribals for preservation of cultural heritage and promotion of Indian values of valor, hospitality, and national pride. India's freedom struggle was strengthened by several movements by tribal communities, such as Santals, Tamars, Kols, Bheels, Khasis, and Mizos, to just name a few. The revolutionary movements and struggles organized by the tribal communities were marked by their immense courage and supreme sacrifice. To commemorate the contribution of the tribal freedom fighters, the Ministry of Education, in association with IICTE, UGC, Central, Private and Deemed Universities, has called for a nationwide celebration. And in line with the same, students of AVMC are proud to have organized a debate competition on the topic, "Do you opine that the contributions of the tribal communities have gone unrecognized in the freedom struggle?" Before we start the debate competition now, I would request all the respected dignitaries to please take their seats in the audience. Thank you so much. Before we begin, we have a short clip to be presented to you all. I hope you like it.
कर दिखाया तूने। कर दिखाया तूने। भीमा, इस सपने को जान दी, लड़ने के लिए नया रूप दिया तूने। मैं क्या कर सकता हूं तुम्हारे लिए? शिक्षा दो अन्ना।
उम्र में लहरा वो झंडा, हर गली घर में है लोहे का बंदा।
I would like to now request our today's judges to please kindly accept our request and take their seats. To kick off our today's debate, I would like to request the judges to please give us an opening speech. Okay. So moving on to the final, it's time now. We move on to our debate competition. Let me introduce you to our teams here today. In team 1, we have Balaji and Madan Kumar speaking for the topic. In team 2, we have Chirag Sakuja and Dhruv Bhavsar speaking against the topic. In team 3, we have Shaktivel and Bharaditya speaking for the topic. In team 4, we have Chandni R and Deepashri S speaking against the topic. And I, Sanchit Kushwaha, will be the moderator of today's debate competition. Before we begin, we must revise some rules of the competition. Each team shall be allotted 4 minutes in total to speak for or against the topic. Either one of the team members can speak for 4 minutes, or the time could be divided between the two members as the team members decide. After making their argument, all other teams can question the team in focus, with each team allowed a maximum of 2 questions. The team answering can choose to not answer any question they do not want to answer. Good luck to all the participants. We start the debate now. I first invite team 1 to make their arguments. Team 1, you have the standing.
Good afternoon to everyone. First of all, the topic is, do you think the contribution of tribal community has gone unrecognized in freedom struggle? Of course, yes. How many of them know today was Janajatiya Gaurav Divas until the circulation came? Of course, many don't know. Birsa Munda was a young tribal freedom fighter who was arrested by the British on March 3, 1900 and died young at the age of 25 in jail of Ranchi on June 9, 1900. Birsa Munda was born on November 15, 1875, and today, on account of his birth anniversary, today we are all gathered here for this debate. On his birth anniversary, I need to convey a slogan quote by him. Abua Raj ete jana, Maharani Raj tund jana, which means let the Queen's kingdom and our kingdom be established. Remember one thing, this is quoted by him when India has no freedom of speech. Think of his courage and patriotism over the nation. The British police arrested him on March 3, 1900, on June 9 at the same year at the age of 25.
See, we will request you to please look at us and talk. It should be like a normal debate, how you talk in the among your friends like that. Okay.
He died at the age of 25 in Ranchi jail. 25 years is not an age to die, but he died just for the nation. But it left unrecognized for these many years. We all remember November 14 as Children's Day, but we never remember or never heard of November 15 as Janajatiya Gaurav Divas. The tribal community has played a significant role in freedom struggle in India. Many tribal freedom fighters have contributed and sacrificed their lives for the cause of the freedom and support to the freedom fighters. From Birsa Munda to Alluri Sita Ramraji, there are many prominent tribal fighters who took part in the freedom struggle of the India, but which remains unnoticed. At last, I want to conclude, including tribals, many freedom fighters remains unnoticed. Freedom fighters might have bought freedom for us, but the military, the army is preserving us. But the recognition for military and army was given, it's also a question mark. You might ask the pension I have given, but that is not the recognition. So at least respect their sacrifice and be a proper citizen. Jai Hind, thank you.
Please introduce yourself and tell us whether you're speaking for or against the topic, okay?
So, I am Madan Kumar and I am speaking for the topic it's my responsibility to speak a few words about the tribal community which has fought for the freedom of India. First one is Komaram Bhima. He belongs to a Gonda tribe and he fought for the tax violation which was been put by the British for the Indian government on Indians. And he lost his life while in a shootout from an inspector. So, and he is a symbol of rebellion and amongst the tribal community. And Alluri Sitaraman, he is from Visakhapatnam, and he also fought for the. And it's not. I would conclude my topic by telling that it's not too late to celebrate these freedom fighters who fought for Indian freedom. Thank you, Jai Hind.
That brings us to the conclusion of Team 1's arguments. I now open the floor for questions to be directed to Team 1. Team 2, do you have any questions?
My question is to Team 1. Team 1 mentioned in the speech that does anyone know about 15th November being celebrated as a Jan Jatiya Divas? May I ask you, let me tell you one thing. The day, it was decided last year, okay, the day will be celebrated as this. So how can you make that argument? Okay, who knows what this day?
Team 1, would you like to answer?
I'm not talking in the recognized year itself. I'm talking in the next year. When it was recognized last year, and if it was properly recognized, all would have known that 2 minutes silence tribute which we are doing in Martyrs Day, why we are not doing in this day.
Team 1, any rebuttal?
Only it's 1 year only. This day started to celebrate, and you are saying it's not that much. We are not putting that much efforts to make it recognized. What we are doing here is that people will be aware about how this day is celebrated. How can you say the day is not that well celebrated? Only PMO this year only. I would like to clarify. This year only, he's just stated that this day will be associated for the Janjatiya Gaurav Divas.
The tribal freedom fighters have fought before 75 years. What about the 75 years of the independence? After the 75 years of the independence only, we recognize the day for them. And that is also not too efficient. That's what I'm saying. After the next year, it might be of efficient. But as of today, this year, it is not efficient as that much.
That brings us to the end of Team 1's arguments and rebuttals. Now I shall invite Team 2 to make their arguments. Team 2, you have the standing.
The tribals have played a huge role in each aspect of nation building.
Please introduce yourself for or against the topic.
Even have a big role in freedom struggle. So, hello judges, today I, Chirag Sakhuja and Dhruv totally oppose the notion set in front of us that the contribution of tribal communities have gone unrecognized. How can you even think?
Please come back to opening speech. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Tribals have played a huge role in each aspect of nation building, even have a big role in freedom struggle. So today, I, Chirag Sakhuja and Dhruv have totally the notion set in front of us that the contribution of tribal communities have gone unrecognized. How can you even think the nation who is led by a female tribal woman can even forget or even let the efforts made by the tribal community for the freedom of India go in vain? Judges, we are emerging superpowers. That India is just emerging superpower, and for a nation to grow, its base needs to be strong. And our base comes from these tribes. These tribes, before even the set of the freedom struggle, they started to oppose the British community. Even before the freedom struggle. And the government of India these days has started to put every effort to make people aware about the effort made by this community. Today, it's just 1 year we started, like not even a year. This year, our PMO introduced as the 15th November Jan Jatiya Gaurav Divas on the birth anniversary of Birsa Munda, known as the God these days, we say. Yes, the tribals of India are not in good state, we all know. But the government has put every effort to uplift these groups. They are giving reservations. These are offered jobs and good infrastructure to make them uplift. These tribals live far from the developed cities, usually isolate themselves and make the masses, and it's make them difficult for the masses to travel to them. So the government is making every effort to make the proper road connections and make the facilities of healthcare along with other public interests brought in easy access. I would like my friend to continue, Dhruv.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dhruv and I'll be speaking against the topic along with Chirag. So, as my friend said, the tribes live far away. But then there have been contributions and a lot of work has been done by the government to uplift and educate the people. Did you guys know that there's a special ministry set up for the tribal affairs in India? Tell me one country which does not have it. Tell me one country which has it, apart from India. Also that, along with that, there have been many projects set up, like let's say Make in India, and also upliftment in tourism, which also helps the tribals, for example, selling their products. For example, let's say clothes and potteries and everything. So, all I have to say, and also along with that, there have been multiple mentions in students' curriculum. For example, in textbooks, there have been mentions of Savitribai Phule, who was one of the freedom fighters and who was responsible for education of women during the British rule. Along with that, as one of my fellow delegates said, he mentioned Korega Bhima. I'd like to correct him that Korega Bhima has also got recognition. There has a movie been made on Korega Bhima. In the end, I would just like to say it's all the hard work which the tribals have done is not gone.
Team 2, I will have to cut you off now. You don't have standing. Your time is up.
Yeah, I'm
Please take your seat.
Give my ending speech.
No, that's it.
Thank
Please take your seat. I now open the floor to questions for Team 2. Team 1, do you have any question?
First question, you're talking about reservation, right? But the one thing they want more than the reservation is developing their part of the nation. Does that occurs properly?
Yeah, the reason why they have reservation, for example, reservations in education is how majorly they will develop their own region. That is why let's say the reservations is what will help their development in their own region.
You said, I would like to continue the answer. Just you said how we are making them develop. The government of India has put every effort, like they are connecting them with the roads, hospitals, and they are even giving them free treatments and other facilities to uplift them.
You want any rebuttals?
First, I will answer your question, then I'm not saying reservation is waste, but what I'm saying is there are many, even now, many tribal people living in their part with just only hospital, one primary clinic with no doctor, one small classroom. That is not a school. They are still with undeveloped. Of course, I accept that government of India is doing many efforts, but
Okay, team 3, do you have any questions?
If you think tribes are the roots of our country, then why during Jawaharlal Nehru's reign as Prime Minister, most of the development was focused on the central part of India and the borders were ignored, as during tribals were the majority there? Repeat the question. If you think that tribes are the roots of our country, then why during Jawaharlal Nehru's reign as Prime Minister, most of the development was focused in the central part of India and the borders where tribals are majority were ignored?
Can I just, intervene over here? See, the question, focus on the question more. The question is whether the tribal community's contribution is recognized or not, right? And the reservation system, to the best of my knowledge, was not based on whether the contribution to the time of independence was there or not, right? So the current reservation, the railway system, these are all a different, complete set of a huge argument. So we won't go into it, but
so let's focus on the topic whether they have contributed to the, their contribution has been recognized or not. Okay, and reservation is a completely different topic.
Excuse me, ma'am. I would like to answer that as the government has put efforts in like other freedom strugglers, they give them job opportunities, the pensions to the families.
Can we have silence from the audience, please?
Pensions to the other freedom fighters' families. In the same way, like the tribals of the India, of our nation are being recognized. So even if we are giving them reservations, we are trying to uplift them only. So I feel like this is to the topic, it's appropriate to the topic.
See, the debate is between you both, not the judge and the participant, okay?
Team 4, do you have any questions? We'll conclude Team 2's arguments now and we'll move on to Team 3. We have Shaktivel and Bharaditya speaking for the topic. You have standing.
Good afternoon, respected judges, teachers, members of the dais, and the audience. Today, I would like to speak for the notion. As we know, the first revolution against the British started in 1857. That was 165 years ago. And among the group of people that were involved in the revolution was the tribal community. Across India, tribal groups emerging from the Beda, Gonds, Kochia in the south, Khasi, Naga, Mizo, Manipuri in the northeast, kept up sustained and furious attacks on the British. They fought against the Jamindari system, fought for the procurement of land, taxes, etc. Great tribal leaders like Birsa Munda, Jadonang, and Rani Gaidindu also emerged, which paved and led the way in the struggle for tribals. Other leaders like Amita Devi Bisnoy, Sunderlal Bahubama in the Chikko movement. All these great leaders led and fought with their lives. The tribals were also serving in the Azad Hind force led by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and they fought and lost their lives. But proper recognition was not given. Even after 75 years of independence, proper recognition for the tribals were not still given. Some tribals were given names like Chinese, Covid, Small Eyes, etc. They are looked at as if they are inferior, dumb, and uneducated. Proper recognition was still not given. We should all know that tribes are tributes to the modern society, for they provide that sharing and caring collectively could bridge across individual hearts individually. I would like to conclude that recognition should be given to one and every individual.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Now I'll continue the speech. I'm speaking for the topic. So, tribal warriors who played an important role in freedom struggle have not been given the place they deserve in history. I would like to give an example, like the younger generation has very to least amount of knowledge about the Indian independence movement, except what's given in their history textbooks. But when the history textbooks itself don't include what the tribal communities have done, this shows that they have not given the recognition and respect and recognition they should be given. I would like to take this opportunity to talk about the major events that they did, and they were one of the earliest in 1700s and 1800s. The 1760s, the Kondas from Odisha fought against the East Indian Company for the first time. And in 1855 to 1856, the Santal Hu rebellion happened, which was led by Sindhu and Kanu brothers. It was a major moment where more than 15,000 people were massacred. It was due to the procurement of land and the land taxes imposed by the British oppressive government. And as we all know, the Munda uprising, which is the talk of the today, and Mangag massacre in 1930, which happened in Mangar, where Bills, the tribe, more than 1,500 were killed. This is known as Jallianwala Bagh in Wagad region. I would like to conclude by quoting that, written in history, this is the power linked to present and the future possibilities, guiding us to the future.
I'll have to cut you off now, Team 3. Your time is up. You have no standing. Please take your seat. I now open the floor for questions. Team 1, do you have any question? Team 2, Team 3, Team 2, do you have any question?
I just mentioned in my speech that there's a whole ministry for tribal affairs. So how can you say that there has been no recognition or any upliftment of the tribes?
Team 3, would you like to respond?
I just mentioned in my speech that there's a ministry set up for tribal affairs, like an actual ministry. So how can you say that there is no recognition or any upliftment of the tribe? Can you justify that?
Okay, would you like to answer?
You should know that upliftment and recognition is different, two different terms. And we should also know that in the Northeast, there is a FASMA going on. Is there a kind of recognition? You should know that, please.
Team 2 rebuttals.
Also, in another question number 2. Sir, again with the recognition, there's mentions of many multiple freedom fighters who belong to the tribal community in the children's textbook. For example, Savitribai Phule. So how would you again justify there has been no recognition?
I have mentioned way more instances, like Jallianwala Bagh, you remember. Yeah, but I'm telling Jallianwala Bagh is what you remember. But there are so many incidents which I purposely made, like 1,500, 15,000, all the deaths, martyrs, all they were fighting and nothing was written in the children's because of course it's too violent. Even in the 8th, 9th, 10th is too less.
Team 4, any questions?
You said that the history haven't mentioned any people like tribal freedom fighters about them and the recognition. Do you really gone through it? Do you really gone through whether they haven't been recognized by the government?
I actually wanted to say in the speech, but I couldn't. But History is not only a chapter of the past, but also the mirror of future. But when it is not made aware, it is not being, it is the pages of, the pages of history are neglected. So basically, from what I remember in my history textbook, I know I've never heard of more. I know Jallianwala Bagh question is a 5-marker. That's all.
For any rebuttals? Team 4, do you have rebuttals?
You said that only on mentioning history is not the main thing, right? Then only Jallianwala Bagh is not important and it is not a relevant topic, right? Then have you gave? The thing is mainly on tribal freedom fighters. You're saying that I remember only then, only the Jallianwala Bagh, but this was being recognized last year itself. And so we are being here to have a topic on it, on the speech, and we're having the competition based on it. Then how comes?
Jallianwala Bagh is what is made aware to the public. But what I wanted to say is I told all the rebellions which is apart from the Jallianwala Bagh, which were also very significant, so that I made it aware even though it is there in the history. As I would like to give an example, like in Wikipedia, I was just researching, everything was given, all the Congress movements, this Jallianwala Bagh also is given. For answering also.
You said about Jallianwala Bagh.
There was one other point I wanted to say also. There is this Mangar massacre which happened in 1913, and Jallianwala Bagh was 1919. But Manbagh was known as Jallianwala Bagh ka. Jallianwala Bagh. Sorry. Jallianwala Bagh. Jallianwala Bagh ka. It's known as Jallianwala Bagh ka Bhagat region. As in that happened even though the tribes suffered before, but the recognition is given after only, right? That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying, sorry.
If we are getting into history only, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre is so famous because only it led to, what do we say? So after that, so many history events happened. After that, there was this guy, it was a real big milestone. So that's why it was famous and it was so much highlighted. And even if the tribal community was not highlighted, I remember even my history books, if I have read it properly, there were so many incidents that were mentioned and there were questions even that were there for the tribal communities' efforts that were made in freedom. And we have mentioned that in our speeches also.
Should I let them answer? Now we move on to Team 4's arguments. In Team 4, we have Chandni R and Deepa speaking against the topic.
Good afternoon to one and all gathered here. We are here to speak against the topic and to brainstorm the people that are tribal freedom fighters have been recognized by our government. We bow down to all the tribal freedom fighters and wish you all happy Tribal Pride Day. I'm honored to say that the birth anniversary of iconic tribal leader Birsa Munda is observed as Janjatia Gaurav Divas. We are celebrating this auspicious day in the remembrance of the contribution of the tribal freedom fighters like Birsa Munda, Rani Gauhandli, Sindhu Murmur, Kandhu Murmur and Tilka Manji. On honoring their contributions to their freedom struggle, government has specifically recognized many persons by various dimensions. In this case, specifically for Birsa Munda, the birth anniversary of him, which is today, is being celebrated as Janjatia Gaurav Divas or Tribal Pride Day. And a statue of him in the Parliament complex in New Delhi has been erected. And in his name, Bhagwan Birsa Munda Puraskar Award has been given for recognizing the people for their freedom struggle.
On August 4, 2022, the Ministry of Culture, Government of India released third iconic book featuring stories of 20 tribal freedom fighters on August 2nd at Triranga Utsav celebration in New Delhi.
I am privileged as a woman to share about a strong tribal freedom fighter, Rani Gauhanli. She is from Rongmeni tribe, which is one of the Selong tribe, and her name Rani, which has been given by Nehru for her contribution in the freedom struggle. She was awarded the award which we have already mentioned before. She was awarded Bhagwan Birsa Munda Puraskar in 1996, and Government of India has also issued commemorative stamp in her honor in 1996. Indian Coast Guard has commissioned a fast patrol vessel, ICGS Rani Gauhanli, in 2016. And Union Minister, Home Minister Amit Shah virtually had laid foundation stone for Rani Gauhanli Museum in Mirzapur in November 2021, which was sanctioned by Ministry of Tribal Affairs in 2019.
The Ministry of Tribal Affairs decided to set up tribal freedom fighters museums to give due recognition to all their sacrifice. As per his direction, all the museums have been strong usage of technologies like visual reality, augmented reality, 3D and 7D holographic dimensions. They decided to construct all these museums in 7 different states like Rajpilal in Gujarat, Ranchi in Jharkhand, Lambasinghi in Andhra Pradesh, Rajpur in Chhattisgarh, Kozhikode in Kerala, Chhindwara in Madhya Pradesh, Hyderabad in Telangana, Senapati in Manipur, Malang Kelsi in Mizoram.
In memorial of Bhagwan Birsa Munda, the government has issued a stamp on November 15, 1988.
Hereby, we conclude the 75th Independence Day was incomplete without recognition to tribal freedom fighters, and so we are here to celebrate this special day.
And we hereby conclude that we do not opine that the contribution of the tribal community has been unrecognized. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Jai Hind. Thank you.
For Team 4, I now open the floor for questions. Team 1, do you have any questions?
You have said about the museums and the technologies that is done and that is in that museums. My question is actually simple. That is, they fought for the nation. Do they get the real recognition? And they're part of the country. Do the kids of the tribes know the meaning of the technologies, what you are speaking? To have that primary education in their regions, not here, in their own native region. Do they have the primary educations of knowing the meaning of the technologies which we have now?
As already mentioned by your teammate, recognition and upliftment is different. And you are asking about how they are knowing these things.
You ask that this is not recognition to their family or something else for their sacrifice, okay? And museums have been developed with the technologies because for the young children to view on their visual thing how they have really sacrificed it.
You want to rebut?
I too accept recognition and uplift are the two different words, but a proper recognition was the uplift of their, because that's what they fought for.
Would you like to reply? Teams can't reply. Do you have?
I too accept recognition and uplift are the two different words, but according to me, a proper recognition was just uplift of their generation.
Would you like to reply? Would you like to reply, Team 4?
Yes, by giving different dimensions about them is a recognition for them, right? Not for their generation, but for the future people.
Like you said, that these tribal communities, school, their children, do they even know about what is the technology they are offered? Yes, I guess. Because the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, along with Microsoft, is setting up setting up plans and making the initiatives to make these schools of the tribes digitalize and make them exposed to these kinds of things like virtual reality and other technologies.
Team 2, do you have any questions for Team 4? No? Team 3? No. Okay. So that would bring us to the end of the debate competition. Sorry? Okay, ma'am. You want to answer? Who wanted to answer? So who wants to answer? Don't discuss. What was your question? Let him finish the question.
Even after Jallianwala Bagh, there was a bomb blast in the conference in England that led to the famous Jallianwala Bagh massacre.
Okay, do you want to answer?
What makes you think that these tribal moments inspired Jallianwala Bagh? What makes you think it's not there? I understand. It's a milestone, yeah, but what makes it a milestone? What made them come there? Maybe it's the tribal things they inspired. Maybe one of them was there.
Wait, you want to explain or you want to ask a question?
Jallianwala Bagh massacre was so big. Okay? Like there's a thing, the British Parliament and the Council was involved in it, and in front of that tribal one, that was a little smaller, I'll say. Okay?
It's not small. It was a milestone because the British Parliament was involved, and since there was a bombing in the British Parliament, the massacre happened. That is why it's a milestone. Since in the tribal whatever you said, massacres have been done, it was not directly connected to the parliaments or government which was ruling at that time, right? So that's why it's a milestone. So.
We'll close the debate over here. I'll request all the participants to be seated and please be maintained decorum. Thank you. Now we have come to the end of the competition. Before we end, we would like to acknowledge the importance of the judges who came by and assessed our participants with their wisdom to pick their winners and runners today's competition on. We hope this competition will be a sweet memory to all the contestants, and the results will be announced soon by the judges. I kindly request the judges to share their valuable thoughts.
Yes, audience, can I have your attention? You ready to go? What is it? What's happening? You want to go? Okay. Yes, can I have your attention? Yes? Okay, I'm Dr. Samina, Assistant Professor, General Medicine. So, hi. Have some life, man. Okay. So, do you all like freedom? Yes? AVMC is giving you freedom? So, all this is being recorded, okay? All this is being recorded. I just ask questions, the answers are yours, okay? Yes, we do have freedom, yes? See. Still you can order from Swiggy, Zomato, even mess provides you food, you still can order, yes? You can go out anytime after permission from wardens, yes? See, we have freedom, we all love freedom, yes? Yes or no? So, okay, so what my opinion on this is, yes, we all love freedom. I'm happy that we have come to this stage where we have not been caged by people, where we are restricted, our movements are restricted, our activities are restricted, all that is not there. So all together, even tribal people and the other people, everyone together has fought for this freedom from British people. Yes? Yes? And what I feel is, at least now, it is not very late, at least now we have started recognizing tribal people. That is what I feel. At least now we have started recognizing, we have a program today. Now you will take it forward. In our time, we didn't recognize much, yes, but now it has been recognized. Now we've started, at least now better than late. Yes, this is my opinion about. But a big round of applause for all the people who participated.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, yeah. So first, huge congratulations to all of you who participated over here. It's not easy, you know, just coming out of school and then being a part of many activities. So you guys did a great job. But one thing that I expected more or will expect more from next year onwards is that for you to scratch heads more, which means it should be a debate, fighting with each other, right? So those are some things that, you know, I would be expecting. But on the whole, the topic is a very nice topic that they have given, right? Whether the, you know, the tribal people's contribution have been recognized or not. And the argument started in a very nice way. They said like, okay, don't talk about today, but for 75 years, we all sat simply, right? Yes, it's just started this year. So they said about the history, they told about how many people have done and everything. But today we are talking about, what about these years, they asked about. And the next team said that like, you know, fine, past is past. Later ஆரம்பிச்சாலும் latest ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கோம். Right? Everyone are a part of it, they said. Today we are celebrating across the country. That's what they started arguing, and they also spoke about history and everything. And the next team's argument and the questions, the debate, really like the talks that they had was the very interesting one. He quoted examples of, you know, incidences before Jallianwala Bagh, and he said, how many of you understand Tamil here? Put your hands up. Okay, fine. Then I can say this. Vanakku vanda chutney, yanakku vanda rattam. You know what that means? Okay, so he explained it in a very nice and simple way. Okay, and the last team again they said, though we started late, we built museums. We have 3D images and videos available. Okay, but will that compensate for 75 years is a huge question. So when it comes to the debate question, as ma'am also favored in, I am also not in favor of like, you know, we recognized. We have lagged behind, okay. But as for the team's arguments and enthusiasm, we have the prize winners ready, right? Yes, certificates are ready, ma'am. Sorry, anyone else is coming for giving the prize? So we all. Okay. Okay, the team 3, Saktivel and Bharaditya, right? They get the first prize.
So, second prize, any guesses? Come on, don't just shumma support them. Who had lot of knowledge, facts and everything? It's okay, what we both judges felt was team 4, Chandini and Deepashri. So the remaining participants, Balaji and Madan Kumar. So many fans you have, man. Balaji, huh? Come. Balaji and Madan Kumar, and then. Okay, that was Chirag and Dhruv, and then. Just for your next bet, I mean, this third team, no, I felt more of this person was participating more. So next time, make it a team effort, okay. Yours was more of information, I loved it, more of research and information, but debate was not there. You couldn't argue more, okay, that you will have to improve. Balaji has lot of fans already, but points, what does he do? What does he do? Why so much? He gets for daily food for you. What does he do? Okay, then this team very good. Okay, this team actually you need them. Whenever you have a problem, you take them. Nice, good argument. This team, Chirag and Dhruv, very good. Okay, but what we felt is relevance was little less. But any fight, they'll be ready. Okay, catch them these two. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations to the winners and the runners of the competition. I request everybody to sit. There's a vote of... This marks the end of the event. Now I call upon Ankita Sawant for the vote of thanks.
A very good evening, everyone. Guys, please bear with me for 5 minutes. As we come to the end of this competition.
Audience, please, someone has put effort to talk this vote of thanks, okay? Please, 2 minutes, just last 2 minutes, huh? Please remain silent.
As we come to the end of this wonderful competition, I would like to thank our Dean, Professor P.F. Kotul, for gracing us with his presence. Thank you, our Dean HPE, Dr. Mahalakshmi ma'am, for their constant guidance. Thank you so much, Dr. Arunachalam sir, our Vice Principal of Student Affairs, for being with us in all our ventures. And thank you so much, Arun Daniel sir, for being there and constantly supporting us. Thank you so much, judges, for being so enthusiastic. It was very wonderful to have you. And thank you so much for our participants and a lovely, very lovely audience. Thank you.
I kindly request everyone to rise up for the national anthem.
Shubha